Well, good morning everybody. We are continuing our math lessons today, and today we are going to continue on the second day of 1-2 equations with variables on both sides. And today we're going to look further into solving equations where you have variables, commonly known as x, on both sides of the equations. So the things that you need to know before this lesson will be put on this paper called review, and it's going to be very briefly. So before you learn the next lesson or the second part of the lesson, let's review solving equations. For example, if you have something like negative 2y plus 1 is equal to negative 3 multiplied by the quantity of 2y plus 5. You notice that this equation has variable on the left of the equal sign and on the right of the equal sign. So step one is whenever you see a parentheses, I would use the distribute property to simplify the products between the negative 3 and 2y plus 5. So we're going to rewrite the left side the same, and on the right side, negative 3 times 2, it's going to be negative 6y, and you could use your calculator or decimals to confirm. And then negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. And in case if we need to check our calculations, we could always use the decimals app. For example, I just turn on this decimals app right here, and for negative 3 multiplied by 2, you just put negative 3 times 2 like this, and it should tell you it is negative 6, which is the same as we got here. And then for negative 3 times positive 5 on your calculator, you also do negative 3 times positive 5, and it'll get you negative 15, which is the same thing as we have gotten here. Then after that, previously we talked about between the negative 2y and the negative 6y, we want to get rid of the smaller one. So between the number negative 2 and the number negative 6, we're going to get rid of negative 6 by adding 6 on both sides. So actually it's plus 6y and plus 6y on both sides like this. So from there, you find what is negative 2 and positive 6 equal to. So negative 2 plus 6 is positive 4y, and then you bring down the plus 1 is equal to these two cancel, negative 6 and positive 6 cancel, so you're left with negative 15. Then from here you're left with two-step equations, so you're going to add 1 on both sides. Then the next step, you're going to subtract 1 on both sides. So you're going to have 4y is equal to negative 15 minus 1 is negative 16. If we were to confirm using our calculator, we could just do this very easily. So you just put negative 15 minus 1, and it'll get you negative 16 right away. Okay, so that's why we get negative 16. So at the end, you notice that on the last step of equations, most likely you're going to divide, because in between the 4 and the y is multiplication. So you divide both sides by 4. So you're left with y is equal to negative 16 divided by 4. We're going to use our calculator. So negative 16 divided by 4, you get negative 4 as your final answer. So that means our final answer is y equals negative 4. Okay, so this is the review part. Now we're on to the second day of 1-2 equations with variables on both sides, day 2. Okay, so we're going to just do 2 examples. It's very similar as the equations that we have done before. So let's have you take a look at this one. 3 multiplied the quantity of 4x plus 6 is equal to 12x plus 18. Okay, so as before, just like from the review, we're going to distribute so that the parentheses will disappear on the next step. So 3 times 4x is 12x, and then 3 times positive 6 is positive 18, is equal to 12x plus 18. Well, remember, between the two coefficients 12 and 12, we have to get rid of the smaller coefficient. So between 12 and 12, you notice that none of them is smaller than the other. They're both the same number. So you have no other choices but to subtract 12x on both sides like this. Okay, and so when you subtract 12x on both sides, these cancels out, it's gone, so you're left with 18 on the left of the equal sign. And then on the right side, once you subtract these are also gone for some reason. And then you're also left with 18 here. You notice that this is looking strangely because there's no other variables. You're left with two numbers that are equal to each other. So if you have two numbers that are equal to each other, we call this equations infinitely many solutions, or identity in some of the textbooks. Okay, what does this mean? It means that, well, the answer to this equation is just not a number, it's actually a situation. It's either infinitely many solutions, you could say that, or identity. What does it mean? It means that it does not matter what the value of x is. When you plug it into the equations, both sides are going to be equal. So let's actually try it out. What does it mean? So like, for example, if I were to rewrite this, right? Let's say, x is 1, okay? If I were to replace all the x's with 1, let's see what happens. I'm going to have 3 multiplied by 4 times 1 plus 6 is equal to 12 times 1 plus 18. You notice this says I replace all the x's with the value 1. And we want to see whether both sides are equal to each other. So let's check that. So we're going to use order of operations to simplify the left. So you do 4 times 1, which is 4. So we're going to put 3 times 4 plus 6 is equal to 12 times 1 is 12 plus 18. Then 4 plus 6 is 10. So you're going to do 3 multiplied by 10 is equal to 12 plus 18. 3 times 10 is 30, and 12 plus 18 is also 30. So you notice that the left and the right side are equal. That means one of the solution x could be is 1. Now let's try another number. Let's try x is equal to 5, okay? So let's try to see if the left and the right are equal. Well, we're going to replace it. So 3 multiplied by 4 times 5 plus 6 is equal to 12 times 5 plus 18. Well, again, use order of operations. 4 times 5 is 20. So 3 times 20 plus 6 is equal to 12 times 5 is 60 plus 18. Then 20 plus 6 is 26. So 3 times 26 on the left, and then 16 plus 18 on the right of the equal sign. Well, to multiply 26 times 3, you're going to use a calculator and you'll get 78. And then on the right side, 60 plus 18 is also 78. So you notice that both sides are equal to each other. That means x equals 5 is also a solution. We could do this forever and never and never. We're going to try a lot of numbers, and you notice that left side and the right side of the equations are going to be equal. So therefore, we have more than one answers, right? X could equal to 1. X could equal to 5, x could equal to -6, any other numbers they could think of. So therefore, our answer is not in numbers, but it's in words, and we call it infinitely many solutions, or identity. You just have to write one of them, you do not have to write both of them. Let's go to example 2. Example 2. Okay. Let's say in this example, we have 6 minus 3 multiplied by the quantity of a plus 1 is equal to 13 minus 3a. Again, you see parentheses, so we're going to distribute a -3. Don't forget the negative in the front. So -3 times a, and then -3 times 1. Okay, so you bring down the 6. So -3 times a is -3a. -3 times +1 is -3 is equal to 13 minus 3a. Well, there are two terms that are like terms on the left side of the equation. So the two terms, the like terms are 6 and the -3. So you're going to combine the like terms. 6 minus 3 is 3. So we're going to write 3 minus 3a is equal to 13 minus 3a. Okay. Remember, you have two letters, right? One letter on the left and one letter on the right of the equation sign. So we're going to get rid of the -3a, doesn't matter because none of them are larger than the other. So you have no choice but to add 3a on both sides. Plus 3a and plus 3a. Well, we're going to line up the equal sign. You notice that on the left, there's only 3, the value 3 left because the -3a and 3a cancel. Same thing on the right side. -3 and 3a cancel. So you're left with this number right here, which is 13. Unlike the previous example, these two numbers are not equal to each other. 3 does not equal to 13, right? So these two numbers are not equal to each other. So if you see something like this where the variable disappears because they all cancel out and you're left with two numbers that are different and not equal to each other, you call this situation no solutions. So again, it's not a numerical answer, but your answer is going to be no solution. And here's the reason why. It's that it doesn't matter what number we picked, there's no way that the left side of the equation was same as the right side of the equation. There's no answers for that. We could try a little bit. Let's say, try x equals 1 and see what happened. So we're going to try x equals 1. So we're going to recopy the problem. 6 minus 3 and then 1 plus 1 is equal to 13 minus 3 times 1. I simply just replace the a. Oh, you can't see. I simply just replace the a with the value 1. And let's see if to make sure that they're not equal. So you're going to do order of operations. 6 minus 3 times 2 is equal to 13 minus 3 times 1 is 3, right? And then 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 minus 6 is equal to 10. 0 is equal to 10, which is a false statement. So we know that x equals 1 is not your answer. We're going to try another number. Let's say x is equal to 2, right? We're going to do the same thing. 6 minus 3, and then you replace the a with 2 plus 1 is equal to 13 minus 3 times 2, right? So we're going to simplify. So 6 minus 3, and then 2 plus 1 is 3, is equal to 13 minus 3 times 2 is 6. And then 3 times 3 is 9, so 6 minus 9 is equal to 13 minus 6. Well, the left side 6 minus 9 is negative 3. The right side 13 minus 6 is 7. So again, both sides are not equal to each other. And you can repeat this process 100 million times. You're not going to find an answer or number that would make the equation, the left side equal to the right side. They would never be equal. So that's why it's no solutions. So at the end of this lesson, I want you to realize that an equation with variables on both sides could have no solution, could have infinitely many solutions, or it could have just one answer. Right? One answer like this. And this is the best, and here's the strategies to do this faster. If I see that two coefficients somewhere in the middle of the steps are different, right? One of them is negative 2y and the other one is negative 6y. I know that at the end I have an answer, right? There must be an answer somewhere. But if I have two coefficients, 12 and 12, they're exactly the same, then I know it's going to be a special case. It's either no solution or infinitely many solutions. So I have to check the numbers next to I have to check the constant next to the coefficient terms. So if I see that the constants are the same, then I could quickly notice that this is infinitely many solutions or identity. And on the other case, if I see that the coefficients terms are the same, if the coefficients are the same but the constants are different, then I could automatically tell that it's no solution. So that's a shortcut that you could use to make your homework process or your thought process faster. And that's it. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, so to get to your homework, first you go to my CNUSD website and then you click on the top of the page, my CNUSD, to log in. Well, you're going to type in your username and your password. Well, in this case, your student ID and your password. Then you go on to resource. I think for you guys it's resource. And then you go to a place called Pearson Savas Easy. Pearson Savas Easy. I'm not quite sure how you say that word, but it's Pearson Easy. Click on that. And you get to this pop-up page. And you're going to click on your class textbook. So you click on this right here. This is called Envision Integrated Mathematics 1 2009 Common Core. You click on that, a new window pop up again, and you see 3 different colors. The green color is your online textbooks. I teach from this textbooks. So if you don't have a copy, an actual copy, you could always go to here and click on the appropriate sections that we're teaching. But to find your online homework, you look at the reddish, orangish box in between, in the middle, it's called classes. So you're gonna click on here, click on classes, and depending on which period you're in, there will be new assignments here. So you're going to click on the click into the assignments, and then do your homework, and then that's it. Well, inside the homework, there are problems for you to work on, which allow you 3 attempts before they give you the final answer. So for example, for this problem, if you accidentally got a wrong answer, it'll tell you keep trying. Then you type in another answer, and if it's wrong, then it'll give you one more chance. And the third time that you got it wrong, it'll tell you the answer right away. So, but you could always get help by viewing an example on this part of the feature. So it'll tell you what to do step by step, step by step, step by step until the final answer. So you could always refer to the question, help view an example, or you could use help me to solve this to actually work it step by step. So there will be more answer boxes for you to fill in, but at least it will help you on your learning. Now for this problem, what do you do when you get it wrong, right? So to get a point or to get scores on that homework, then you click on similar questions and you keep practicing until you get it right. So if I were to click on similar questions, you notice that the questions changed. It's different from the previous one. So let's say this time you got it right. Let's say x is equal to 5, right? Well, if you got it right, it will tell you well done, okay, and then you move on to the next problem. So you click on next to move on to the next problem, like this. And once you finish all the problem, I believe the next thing is for you to make sure that you answer all the questions. If there's anything that it's not answered, make sure that you go back and look at it like this, right? So this is not answered. But let's say assume that if you finish your all of the questions on your homework, then you go to the bottom, I believe. Oh, actually, this button right here says submit my work. So you click on it, and then boom, I only got 3% just because I only answered one question correct, the rest I did not answer. So in order for you to get at least 80% or any good scores, make sure that you answer every single question and it's correct, not incorrect, for you to get as many points as possible on your homework. If you have any questions, please contact me.